A very good morning. Welcome to this edition of the big story here on Morning at NTV. And as like it always is with NTV, sometimes we just do not go following the wind where it blows, but we sometimes pick out an issue of societal concern, albeit the circumstances around us, and we discuss it. So today everyone would have expected us to stress test and ask ourselves more fundamental questions on the fundamental change that was ushered in on this day 32 years ago. But we are saying we will just focus on one item of human interest for the benefit of our conversation this morning, and then the NRM and everything around it can take effect as soon as the celebrations kick or go underway in Arua. So this morning, we're having a conversation on the state of albinism in this country, and we have the privilege of hosting the very amiable Olive Namtevi, who is the Executive Director of the Albinism Umbrella, which is the association that brings together all folks with the condition of albinism in this country. And I want to believe that you have regional engagements and coordinators. Yes. And all that. Good morning. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, Simon.
How is everything going?
It's great.
At least we had a good mention of your association during the just concluded parliamentary week, where the Speaker of Parliament and the Organization of Parliament, you know, ran an awareness campaign and continues to run an awareness campaign. We'll start from there.
To just start with this, last Sunday was the second of a series that will be 5 of them. With the plight that we have as persons living with albinism, this has been for a long time. We've made a lot of noise until we got the attention of the Speaker. And Olive, as Albinism Umbrella, we have a big dream that we need a home. A home, not to bring every person living with albinism in this home, but a rehabilitation center where we'll have training facilities, above all, medical facility. Because
when you say rehabilitation, what do you mean?
It's not so much of people have gone through too much, but we also want to showcase, and we want to have this as a home for showing what we are able to do.
As opposed to being an open society where people think there are some things that you just cannot do.
Exactly. Ordinarily, they think we are weak, we can't do nothing. And you know, at times, I find it very strange. A teacher is in class, and the student has got the guts to come there. I call it that because when you look at the enrollment generally in the nation, primary education has really increased, but not for persons with albinism. Why are they dropping out, or why are they not even coming to school? 2 simple reasons. Teachers do not know how to handle these children, and they're not any special. I talked to one commissioner in the Ministry of Gender. It's like albinism is easy to handle. Only trained teachers, the students should be at the front, because they have an eye problem. When you have activities that are out in the sun, do not involve them because their skins will be affected. But at times teachers are biased. We have a student who dropped out of school because the only time she sat in front is when the headmaster came around and said, bring Sarah to the front. When the headmaster goes out, the teacher says, go back. And we ask you teachers, this is such a simple message. Can you just let this child sit at the front? Treat them like any other child. They are not special. The only special is that their skin lacks melanin. Only that. Ultra-sensitive to light. The eyes, we are short-sighted, generally 100%. And they've called us legally blind with those many terms that they want to use.
All the monikers.
All the monikers. So now we have our voice going as far as we can. We want government to come out. We suffer from skin cancer. 80% of our deaths in persons with albinism is caused by skin cancer, a very preventable condition. Why? Our people are not sensitized. We do not have that cream that probably, or it should be that government should provide.
Subsidize it at the very worst.
It is an essential drug for us. These are like ARVs, they're like Panadol, you know?
So if you're providing ARVs for persons living with HIV and AIDS,
why not for the 20,000 persons living with albinism? And we are not that great a number. But I mean, for me, one person dying from an
unavoidable
issue, very avoidable. I mean, why not? So we're asking upon well-wishers, the government, if we can even get a small allocation from Ministry of Health. One, these creams are not available on the market. They are only in the posh places where the whites will be. A very small tin of around 30 mils will go for 50,000 to 70,000.
My goodness, now, that's an arm and leg.
Personally, I can't afford that. 70,000 a tin, which cannot even last a month. So we are coming up with solutions, and I thank our own entrepreneur, Dr. Betty Udong, former honorable for Nebi.
They always are honorables. They don't do just former member of parliament.
Yes, always an honorable. So she's come out. Of course, she's no longer in politics and all that. So she's given all that she can and has come up with a formula to do our local sunscreen using organic oils, you know. And for me, this is very interesting, why I want us to rally behind this cause. One, we are employing Ugandans in this. She has come out willing to train others in this very great resource. And for me, it is like a discovery. We have so much in North, and it's coming from shea butter. You know, it has
trees
so
have
many
been buttered to make charcoal. That's the problem.
You know, that is, but the shea butter is still there, a lot in the North. So. And you know, yes,
because I'm told the rate at which they are cutting down those trees.
When
you cut down a shea butter tree,
and you know it
takes 40 years to grow.
Exactly.
You just
so we need sensitization. When we get through this, because it's still in the early stages, that's why, yeah, it's not yet here. But we want to go through the tests, you know, through the UNBS and all these. There are so many women. She tells me there is already a ton of shea butter ready to be processed. Now, if we have this end ready to get the raw materials, you see how the cycle, everybody will be really happy about this. And then people, we are using carrot oil, simsim oil, sunflower. You know how that chain will all get better.
It will spur the agriculture.
It will spur the agriculture.
Now, and Olivia, just to, sorry to get you off that trail, but let me bring down to the management of the association that you run, which perhaps is the only voice that persons with albinism do have. That is fully engaged in that conversation.
True.
Of course, having a home or building infrastructure is no mean feat, even for organizations of more resource-savvy associations. How are you going about that? Are you running a fundraising drive? Are you hoping on government to, out of benevolence, give you a shot in the arm? How is it going for you?
Well, as Albinism umbrella, like I've said, we have shouted and gotten the voice of the speaker. So Parliament has agreed to work with us for 5 years. We have a budget of 5 billion. And, you know, of course, it's like, woo, 5 billion. We're saying, yes, this is a budget. But we welcome in-kind materials. For instance, if you have your 10 acres somewhere, surrender them. We need.
You don't even have the land at the moment.
But I'm sure with the last concluded fundraising, because we raised 75 million. Last year we raised 35, so then we can hit the market. I can say we can have the land. When this is done, somebody may have sewing machines. Another one will be willing to train my mothers, because we want to empower our people. This is all we want to do. So people are not able to take children to school because they don't even have a meal. You feel embarrassed.
Yes, you'd rather have them go through this rehabilitation center, boost their confidence, give them a skill set.
Exactly.
And then, of course, also perhaps even using the voice of your umbrella, find them employment placements or even entrepreneurial abilities so they're able to create their own jobs.
Very true.
But that said now, and parking it over there, we also know that running an association comes with its own administrative challenges in terms of the need, and largely the need for financing. How do you go about your day-to-day survival?
Our day-to-day survival is on fundraising. Honestly, even Simon as an individual, because currently we are running a campaign to educate 5 albino children. And it's a small budget of 3 million, 1 million per term. We are saying if you have 20,000 Uganda shillings, just 20,000 a month, any individual watching right now, account number will be running on mobile money. 20,000 can come on mobile money. So that we take these children, and they're really, really needy, because we choose those that you are certain, with no doubt, this one will not have an education. And we have known that the more empowered through education, the better the chances. So we want to educate our persons with albinism at all costs. Because we will shout all these. Behind the camera, we're talking about a lady deep in Bokoma Simbi. She's already having skin cancer. I have done mobilization. Masaka is the nearest hospital. But she could not come from there because the health professionals don't treat her well. She says everybody comes and they push you behind the line, and, you know, until we had to go fetch her deep in Matete Sembabule, brought her up. And again, the leadership, the coordinators we have, they are also not empowered. So
is it about empowerment, or is it about the lack of knowledge and the stigma that comes with it?
Both. Both.
And
Because even the people we go
to me very closely, especially the fundraising drive.
Yeah.
So before I forget, Olivia, I'm going to make a pact with you as an individual.
Thank you.
Between me and you, every month I'll give you a sum that I'm not going to disclose on TV. I don't
Great.
always prefer to give the one right hand and get everybody to know.
Great.
Between me. But we must renew this every end of year.
Good.
In other words,
Good.
we run it every end of year. We
Yes.
must make an assessment of how it's performed,
Right.
what it's doing, so then we can see whether we remain at the same sum, increase it, or possibly even stop it.
No, we can't stop it. We can't
I will
stop
make an assessment. But that said, let's get down to the idea of stigma that, you know, when we're here in the center where information is so available, it appears like people with albinism are treated well.
Exactly.
Everyone, you know, respects them and the like. But it looks like the
It's
farther you
not
go
the
from
issue.
the center,
Oh, no.
the stigma is so deep.
It is.
And you may have the bulk of your work as an umbrella association
Outside
spent
Kampala.
on outreaches
Very true.
to train people against
Yes.
stigma. And
So
that also costs money.
stigma alone is one of the highest, can I say, budget items on my budget, because most of the stigma happens in the rural areas. I want to know that traditional leaders or whatever, they are so strong in some areas, and what they say is
law.
Is law, exactly. So if they find you not really fit in society, my coordinator Nira just came yesterday and told me, you know what, there was this person who they had thought was incorporated in society, then one leader said that is a ghost. Now it runs back. You know, just one statement of an opinion leader, of a society leader, causes so much trouble. So we need to go the outreach, not only targeting the people with albinism, but the community where we want to be integrated. Because for me, I want you to accept me in this society. I don't want you to take me out. I don't want you to alienate me as if, you know, you are second-class citizen.
But that comes down to the primary unit of society, which is the family. Your family where you're born, your father and mother, your siblings, because with the genetics I've studied, you are, yes, homozygous, you know, albino.
Yeah.
There are those who are heterozygous, who are carriers, who have the same, like other people, but they are your siblings.
Yes.
How is this arranged at the family level? Do you reach out to the families of your members and speak to them and say, look, this is their condition, but for as long as you like them as a family, the rest of society will fall in place?
It is interesting, yes. On Wednesday, I had a training in Boa, that is in Nuero village. I have to. I have to. The need is huge. So I thank Care for Uganda. It is in Boa. They organize a training for village health teams. Now, it is so interesting because our emphasis is, as a family, accept this child. My own mother accepted me. My father didn't want to know. But as a woman, she stood and did everything. I've had so many cases of mothers abandoning their children. And for me, a mother abandoning a child, I've not really understood that science. It hits my understanding. The fathers, they say, I'm actually not the father of that child. Is there anything to show? You know, apart from the DNAs, of course they do. But what I was saying, that the parents, please accept them as your children. I know of a father who has 6 children. 2 of them are living with albinism. But when asked how many do you have, she said it's 4. And then there are these other 2.
Oh dear. So
if you do not accept us in a family, then who will? Because it is a basic unit of society, right? So we encourage parents, and I'm happy with my people around Kampala and Wakiso. They've come somewhere. And it is through this network.
Information.
Exactly. A lot of information. And then you see, when you compare one who is accepted, by the way, children don't know how to discriminate. They don't. They learn. They learn discrimination. Exactly. So if a family, you treat this child with love, accept them with all the chores, just to know when it is so hot, don't send this one to the well. Maybe if it is school time, get a hat, get an umbrella, dress well. You know, this is a kind of dressing we advocate for, you know, whatever you can, cover it up because of the sun. And then when it is school time, please let our children go to school.
Olive, we would talk here until the cows come. Certainly,
That's
time
right.
is not an ally on our side. However, as we conclude, Olive, I want to believe that there are many government officials, influential people, waking up from their hotel rooms in Arua and neighboring areas where they are preparing to go and celebrate the 32 years of NRM's anniversary. And I'm sure one of them could be watching that could possibly put something on the table in terms of advocacy, in terms of the financial, you know, shot in the arm. Look into the camera and give them your message as we conclude.
Every viewer of NTV right now, you've heard our plight. Honorables, wherever you are, we thank you for your support, for those who are on board, and for those who are not aware of this. Any small amount you can. The other day I was looking at, if we have 400 MPs and you each give, say, 10,000 Uganda shillings, that would give us 2 outreaches. So in every effort that we have to do this, please donate to us. Send a mobile money. Our account number is right there. And we call upon you to change just one life of a person living with albinism. One life changed is a nation changed.
Thanks, Olive. This is Olive Namtebi, the Executive Director of the Albinism Umbrella in Uganda, sharing with us her works, her aspirations for the organization, and of course the state of albinism in this country as the country goes to celebrate, or should we say commemorate, 32 years of the NRM government in power. Stay tuned to more quality programming on NTV. But like I told you earlier on, the celebrations are in Arua, but we'll bring Arua right to the comfort of your living room and or the palm of your hands, depending on what gadget you're using to view NTV. Good morning and God bless.